Hello everyone, I'm back with part 2 of doing practices in lichess. In today's video, we will be covering the fundamentals. Capture, which is take the enemy pieces. This is very important for winning material and then winning the game. Protection, keeping your pieces safe so you don't get captured. Combat, so capture and defend pieces. Check in one, attack the opponent's king. Get out of check and mate in one. I have did a part 1, and so make sure you like and subscribe, and maybe I will put that video in this description. So first, let's start with the capture. This is take the black pieces. We will first take this pawn and then this pawn here. Capture, it says take the black pieces and don't lose yours. If we go here, then he will take with his rook, and then we will lose our queen. So we can take the rook first, which is worth more material, and then take the pawn. Here, I think first we can take this rook here. We can go all the way down, take this rook, come here, and take this pawn. Here it is a little bit tricky. You cannot just go attack this piece because then you will be taken. So you need a way to take the bishop. There are a few ways. You can go here, take, and then do all the capturing. Or maybe there's an even better way. But maybe I'll just go with this way. That was the best to play there. So here we can go ahead, jumper knight here, take these two pieces, and take the two pawns like this. Capture is done. Now we will go to protection. We are under threat, so we will need to move the rook away so he cannot capture us. So we cannot put the knight in any of these squares, since remember the queen is a bishop and a rook. It can take all of these squares. So maybe we can hop to the edge. Here in this position, any knight move, it is not possible, but it is possible, but then the queen can take any of the moves. So first, we can use the rook, and then use the rook to defend the knight, like that. Here, also there is no escape between these two, but the pawn can move up one square, protecting the bishop. Now you cannot block, you cannot escape. I mean, the only thing you can do here is block, because you cannot escape by pushing the pawn. Here, his bishop is taking our rook. We cannot go down since his rook controls the whole first file. So we can play knight to e4, blocking the bishop from taking the rook. Here there are not a few, but one piece that is under attack, which is the bishop. The bishop can move here, and probably those are the only moves, or you can go here. Maybe I'm gonna go with this. Here, the only piece you can take is the bishop. We can go down, rook f3. You cannot take the bishop because of rook. You cannot take the knight because of bishop, and I think that's good. Stage A, which is protection, is finished. Now let's go to combat, which is capturing opponent pieces while escaping, like protecting your own pieces. So here, as you can see, if we are going to go down and then go take the rook, then he can go take the pawn. So first, we can push the pawn so he can't get us, come down with our bishop, and then take the rook. Here, if we take the bishop, he will take our bishop. So first, we escape with whoops. Okay. I mean, first we have to defend our pawn, escape with bishop, and then we take the bishop. And then advance the pawn, take the rook, and promote the queen. Here, there's a lot of pawns that can be taken, but one move can solve them all. Queen f3, so it defends both pawns. We take the knight, and now we can go take the rook. Here, if we take the bishop, he will take our pawn. If we take the rook, then he'll take us back. So what do? Well, we can push our pawn, and then take the bishop, go back and take the rook. Here I only got 2 stars. This is kind of actually hard. So he's threatening this. Let's see what we can do to prevent that. We can go here. That protects all pawns. But then I don't really see any good moves like knight here. Now we have to hop all the way back just to take the rook. So I'm not sure if this is the best move or not. Or maybe we can push the pawn and then go here, take this, and then promote, maybe? How much move is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That will take 8 moves. What if we play bishop f4? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That will take 9 moves. So I think we should push the pawn and then go take the queen, promote, come back, and take the rook. Yes, that is 3 stars. I have improved on my score. Now let's go to the next. Check in 1. So now, this is called a check. When you directly attack your opponent's king, that is called a check. So he must move out of check, block the check, or take the piece that is checking the king. So for example here, rook e1, and he has to move the king. Here there's only one move. Not this because of the knight, not this because of the knight again, but the diagonal check queen to h3. Here there's only one move that makes sense. Uh, Bishop g6 doesn't make sense since you get taken, so bishop b5 is the only other check. Here we can push the pawn and check without getting captured. Here this is not a good move since you'll get taken, so this is the only other check. Here this or this is maybe one of the only checks that makes sense. Yes. Now you can move out of you can move the piece and then make a check like knight g5. Uh, you put the knight on the side so the queen checks the king. Next, we're gonna get out of check. So you must move to any of these squares, or if you have a bishop here, you can take the piece. You can take the queen. You will be out of check, but we have no bishop here. I'm just giving an example. Or if we had a knight, for example, here, we can block it. But there's no knight. I'm just giving an example. So now let's go here to get out of check. Here, there's only one move. This is not possible because of knight. This is not possible either because of knight. Up or down is not possible because of queen. Right, a right is not possible because of bishop, so that only leaves one square to the left. So now my king cannot escape, but I can block the check. So I put my rook here, blocking the check. Here I'm no longer in check, and if he takes my rook, I can take back with king. Here I am in check. I cannot move my king. Remember here, protect. I'll get taken by bishop if up or down. Then knight will also capture the king. There isn't really blocked. If you block with knight, bishop takes, and then it's just checkmate. But you could take the bishop, which is the piece that's giving check, and now you are out of check. Here, you cannot take the knight with pawn because then the queen will take this. This is a tactic called the pin. So what you have to do is you have to take the knight with your knight. Here it is a double check. If you take the queen, you are still in check. So you will have to move the king in a double check. Actually, this is not a double check. It's only a check. But we cannot take this knight because it's in a pin. So all we can do is maybe get out of pin. Or if we spent too much time on getting out of pin, he could play this. So maybe we can move the king. Here we can block the check. Check out of check is complete. Now this is the last one, mate in one. Mate in one. I will take this pawn. I am all of these squares is not possible. Like that's only square if he had a move. But that is not possible. So his king cannot move. When your opponent's king or your king cannot move and is in check, that is called checkmate. And when checkmate happens, you lose the game. Here, we can play knight to f7 because all these pieces are just blocking the king from moving anywhere. Here, mate in one, we can play rook to h8. The queen is under attack, but it's not the one that's giving check. Here we can hop with our knight back to give maybe not that move. This, then king b6. Oh, I know, it's knight e8. Here we can take the pawn and our bishop will give check. Here we can hop with the knight after taking. Nope, I don't think that's good. I think we should take the rook. Then after going back, we can play rook here. c8. He can block. That is not mate in one. This mate in one. That is not mate in one. This is mate in one. You see the rook here is pinned, so it cannot take our bishop. Here, this one's kind of complicated. Queen e7 is the move. That is going to be the end of this video. I mean, the part 2. In part 3, we will do some intermediate practices, which is board setup, how the game starts. So if you just click, like, go on lichess and you just click a random, for example, 10 plus 10, the board is going to be set up. So in this practice, it's going to show you how to set it up. So castling, it's a special king move where the king can move 2 squares. Usually the king can only go 1. It's like a move like the pawn. En passant, which is French, but English, it's in passing. It's a special pawn move where you can take diagonally even though he's not diagonally to your pawn. Stalemate is how the end game in a draw. The game ends in a draw. That's going to be part 3, but there will be part 4 and 5 for this series. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.